Hi, have you ever had days where you're trying really hard to work on yourself? You're trying every single day to help yourself become better, fix some of the issues and change and just see your life being better. But even after all the work you do on yourself or you try helping others, you wake up next day and there's a whole lot going on. It seems like Murphy himself is following you around and shit is going sideways all over the place. Well, if it's happening to you, if you're noticing that you put a lot of effort and the next day or a few hours later everything goes down and it seems like no matter what you do it just doesn't work, I want you to know it is not your fault. You're not crazy, you're not wrong, there's nothing bad about you. Let's make it clear. And I want to make this video because something like this happened to me again, and it is very, very important to pay attention to these things. When you're working on yourself, when you're trying to help others, when you're working so much and like just put a lot of effort and time and you see like, hey, all this work and it all falls apart and it sort of ruins you where everything goes crazy and you're like just sinking in the thoughts of that, I don't know, destruction and sadness and rage and all the other things that are happening, and you're like, why me? Why is it always happening to me? Why can't I get better? Why am I always alone? Blah blah blah. Tons of these thoughts, and it's just sort of, it just feels like you're crazy. It just feels like you're the only one going through so much stuff, and no matter what you do, it just doesn't work. If you're one of those people, let me know in the comments. And again, I'll repeat, you're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. And I'll explain why. So think of yourself as a very powerful being, because you are. But even though you're a very powerful being, there has been a lot of things that has happened to you in the past. You, me, and everyone else have had millions of different lifetimes. In each of those lifetimes, we carried some of the experiences. We had good times, we had bad times, we had great experiences, we had some traumas. And some of those bad things that sort of gather up like onion layers bled through. And some of these things will affect you in this lifetime. But that's not the only thing. You are a wonderful being. You're powerful. You have been working as a healer, you have been working as a warrior, you've been creator. There has been a lot of things that you've done your whole life. In other realms and other planets and all your existence, you've done a whole lot. Be proud of that. And at the same time, with all the good things that you're doing, when you come to this world, right here, you end up getting amnesia. Or let's say, not really remembering who you are, why you're here, what you've experienced. At least if you're like most people. If you're lucky, if you can like sort of like wake up in the morning and like, yeah, in my past I've been this and that, and you have all the memories. But that's not the usual scenario, and it's okay. But at the same time, even though you're powerful and you end up here, whether you came here on Earth on your own free will, thinking that you might want to come here and teach others, or help out others, or be the warrior or the supporter, or simply give love and just change the world, or just simply show your love and kindness and just impact a few people, or how, like whatever reasons you had coming here, it's great. But some people were forced to come here. They did not came here on their own free will. They were pushed. They were deceived. And a lot of people end up here thinking, why am I here? I hate this place. I don't want to be here at all. And some people are living this torturous life, just thinking like, I don't want to be here. I feel like an alien. I don't like communicating in a language. I don't like being around people. I don't like this and that and that. And there might be tons of things going on. And that's okay, because you're right about everything. You're right about feeling like an alien. You're right about feeling like this place is really creepy and you don't belong here, because you don't. You have lived a whole lot of other lives and you found your home, a lot of homes, a lot of families, and that's great. So you're a very powerful being who has experienced a whole lot. And when you come here and experience this sort of like memory wipe, you end up living in a world where you feel like a prisoner in a prison. And every day You're living by the rules, just trying to be a decent human being, trying to do nice things, and like, okay, I'm just gonna survive. Where maybe I'll find a family, maybe I'll find these things, and you're just trying to get by. But there are those people, and quite likely people like you, who don't like normal rules of just make money, find a family, live a normal life that they call in the system, but more like you want to try and you want to find your true self, who you really are, why you're here. You're looking at all the issues you have in your life and you want to change it because you want to live, not just exist. You want to live. You want to experience so much and just feel the taste of joy in life. And hey, it's great being here. It would be great if you felt that, but it seems like every day there's just like pushing against the wall and just nothing's happening. So you're a prisoner in a prison here on Earth. And every time you try to work on yourself, those guards that are watching prisoner don't like you. They don't want you getting out. They don't want you figuring things out. They don't want you getting better. They want you as a slave for labor, for profiting, and whether they profit from luge or some other things, they're profiting. And you're stuck here. And you're working on yourself, trying your best, but every single time they notice that. And they, being whoever, where it is other people, whether it is entities, whether we have some other races like Greys and reptilians and all the others, there's tons of them. Let's not blame one specific part, like one specific race, but there will be tons of beings involved. And with all that, every time you're trying to fight a good fight and get better or make an impact or change someone else's life, like really help them out and, see them win in life, you're going to get hit hard because you're not supposed to be happy here. It's not that kind of place. So I guess there's a lot to say about this whole subject, but like I myself have experienced this where, I might talk on YouTube and all this stuff, and it's just cool. I have my own opinions and thoughts, and I'm not always right. I'm just saying what I'm like. Okay, I saw this and I saw this, and whatever I'm perceiving, I share my thoughts. But I don't think I'm right about everything. I don't. I think like, okay, this is how I think things today. Like this is how I see things today, and tomorrow it might change, and it's cool. So like I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with learning and all this stuff. But then, like today, I was working on myself, and then I was doing sessions. And it's funny because the sessions I was addressing involved satanic rituals, pedophilia, human trafficking, and a lot of other stuff. I'm dealing with people who are going through really hard stuff. And it seems like, okay, I work with them, like whether it's like remote sessions or face to face, like just like talking to them and helping them out and all this stuff. I might make some sort of an impact. Hopefully. I hope that I'm making some sort of an impact that people are winning in life or changing a list a little bit in a better way. But after that, I was sort of carrying my own business. I connected with my family and everything was going fine. But then stuff just started going sideways. And it's kind of like I'm focusing on normal life, like here in the present, and people are going nuts all over the place. Like that person, they're saying crap, started yelling and blowing up. And I'm like, whoa, okay, just sort of just like, just watching. So, like, for me, the good thing is I started not to react to those things as much. As in the past, if certain people say certain things, I was sort of like, it would be a trigger. It would hurt me. And my emotions would go crazy, and I would either respond to things and try to express myself, which might end up in more arguing or in being wrong, bad, and guilty and all this stuff, or in simply saying something that will hurt others. And that would be one of the outcomes. Or I would hold all in. Like people say stuff, and I'm like, okay, all right, and it might hurt me, but I will hold it all in. And one of these scenarios, neither one is working. Whether I try to hold all in and be nice and just sort of digest things, or whether I try to express myself, it would just sort of go sideways. That was happening in the past because the way I reacted, I was not seeing the whole picture. And today, the same stuff started happening. Like tons of people around just started going crazy, talking smack and all this stuff. And, face to face, like confrontations where they started yelling and hitting things. I'm like, whoa, okay, just sort of handle that. And, you know, my one of my ways is sort of like going for a walk is dealing with sort of like chill out, just get off the environment, digest things, and like it's not holding it in, but it's also not yelling or saying anything and sort of like that. But at the same time, whenever something like that happens, I try to back off. I try to back off and like, okay, they're reacting to something because they are hurt. Something has happened in their life and now they're triggered. And how can I help them? Or how can I at least be a listener? Like I might not necessarily be there for service, but I can be there to listen and allow person to express themselves one way or the other. And where they're done, it'll take a little bit of time to chill and deal with the cortisol and all the other things. But a lot of people need to express themselves. It is okay to get mad. It is okay to feel hate and rage and all the anger and all the stuff. It's okay. It is really good if you have a place to express it. And while I might talk about how bad it is to sort of feel anger and all the stuff and just negative emotions and it might like feel louche, it is okay to feel that. You're not wrong for feeling that way. It is good to be mad if you have a target and sort of like know exactly what it is. It's like same thing with like, for example, crying. If you're crying and just crying about nothing, it's not gonna help. But if you're crying, for example, okay, like I might cry and that's it. And it's not gonna help me. But if I focus like I lost my cat and I'm gonna cry about that, I know my grief will go out, but specifically on this thing, and it will release. It will become like lighter and stuff. So with all that happening, when people go crazy, I try to back off and make sure like, hey, I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of how I feel. No matter what they say that might trigger me or affect me, I wasn't there that caused this whole thing, but I'm here as a target. Like someone picked me as a target, which is okay. So I have to be there either to listen and like, okay, or I give you space to express yourself, but then I make sure I don't cause anything bad. So like it's one of my ways to sort of like become more of a listener and allow a person to just go all out. And it's not easy, or at least it wasn't easy at the beginning, because a lot of things that people would say would actually hurt me. And I would try to hold it all in and sort of like, yeah, come on, express yourself. But at the same time, I started minimizing, like, you're right, I'm wrong, I'm guilty, I'm bad. But now I'm in a place where I know who I am. I'm not perfect, far from that. I know all the bad things about myself, but I'm okay with it. I know my downcomings, I know my faults, I know my mistakes, and I'm okay with it. But at the same time, I appreciate myself. I love myself. I know who I am. And so when people are coming at me, I can listen, but things they say will not hurt me because I know who I am. And that's good. But even after all that, it's like it's 3 a.m. right now. And I go to bed and like a lot of things that's happened and I digest and like sort of like everything, all the fires are put down, everything's fine. And I lay down and I'm like, yeah, so why that happen? And after, like a bit of focusing on this and this and this and what caused these things, I'm sort of like, wait a minute. It's not their fault. It's not their fault for feeling this way or saying all this stuff to me or the way they were dealing with their anger and pain and emotions. It is not my fault for ending up in that situation and sort of having to experience all that. I had to sort of look at who caused it all. And it was funny because the first sessions I did in the morning and things I was dealing with was actually targeting the very beings that want people to suffer. And when I realized that, hey, me and everyone else who was going nuts today, they were attacked. I was attacked, they were attacked, targeted, whichever way you put it. And hey, I'm not saying that no matter what happens, everyone else is responsible but you. No. I'm saying we have to take responsibility of ourselves because you can't control the surroundings, but you can control yourself. You can control how you feel, how you react to things, how you think about yourself, and all this stuff. And when shit goes nuts, it is okay to acknowledge that, like, hey, I didn't cause it. It's clearly directed at me and other people because I and you and everyone else was doing something right. And that is prisoners who are in this place are escaping the prison. One way or the other, where you're working on yourself, where you're reading and learning and trying to get better, you find like, hey, I'm going to work out, I'm going to eat better. You decide to do something and you're finally doing one thing after another, and then stuff will happen and you stop. And after that stuff, you don't want to go back to it. You don't want to start working out again. You don't want to go eat healthier and stuff like you're like, I'm done with that stuff. Or maybe you're doing your spiritual work. Maybe you're working on yourself. Maybe you were getting rid of vanities or practicing your meditations and crystal work and all the other things. And it seems like this massive thing you were addressing that was so important is like, hey, I feel better energetically. I feel lighter. I feel more joyful. Whew, it feels like it kind of worked. And you start feeling a little bit better. And then where it's minutes, hours, days, you have this, yay, I won, and then boom, and they smack you down. And it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. I think it is great if we can acknowledge that, hey, you're doing great. You're working really hard. You're trying hard, but at the same time, you're being attacked because you're a very powerful being. You have a whole lot of power in you. And I know some people more like, hey, Akvile, prove it. You're talking about being gods. You're like this and that and that. I'm getting all kinds of comments. But at the same time, the way I see it, what I'm talking about isn't that provable because it's more like, hey, let's say most of my focus is on astral. But at the same time, my whole job is to empower you. I know who I am, and I'm happy in my life. I'm doing great. A lot of stuff can happen, but I know that deep inside I feel good. And even though I can't control the environment, I'm feeling comfortable within myself, with who I am, with what I do. And I really like this empowering place. Like, I don't feel bad, wrong, and guilty. I know, like, hey, I might fuck up. What I say might not be real deal. What I'm saying might be wrong. But for a moment, I believe in that. And if it changes, it's okay. And I will accept it. And I will change my beliefs and I will sort of rethink everything. But at the same time, I'm trying my best to be the best version of myself. I'm trying my best to live every single day and, put my most efforts in it and just, hey, that'll be a thing. And so with it all, I've been seeing these attacks happen in my past, and it's been a while since it happened, but finally here today, there were some of the things I was addressing, but like it's important to just pay attention. You're working on yourself. You're doing something right. And because of that, you get targeted. Because of that, because you're working on yourself, you're trying to get better. You're finally breaking free from the control. You're finally changing yourself in your life. And that is why you are getting attacked because there is someone else who doesn't want you to win, who doesn't want you to feel better, who doesn't want you to feel like you're actually powerful. And when you acknowledge that, hey, I'm being attacked, I think it is very empowering. It's empowering to take responsibility for yourself and how you react to everything, but it's also empowering to say, like, hey, I'm doing my best and they are trying to stop me. Whoever they is for you, because everyone else will have different causes, different people, different beings messing with them. And there's a lot to it. But I don't know, like, I want to put the message, or like what I'm trying to say is that you're doing your best. Don't give up. Don't give up because if you're getting these hits and they're harsh, they're not fun, they're not empowering, they're smacking you and you feel bad. And it just like, it takes a while. But at the same time, it shows you, hey, you're on the right track. You're doing something that triggers them. You're trying to break away from the prison. You didn't agree to this. You didn't want to be a prisoner. But you're in this place where they don't want you happy. They don't want you free. They don't want you feeling great and comfortable and actually, hey, I'm powerful and I can do whatever I want. They don't want you there. But you have it all within. It is not my right to tell you, hey, you have gifts because you already have it. And so, I don't know, like, I just like really want people to be happy in life, to win, to feel good, and just do what they want to do. And I feel happy because I can do it myself. And I get smacked and like, hey, when I reflect to everything, I'm like, I was attacked. And it feels like this whole thing of where if I might have had any thoughts of like, what did I do? If I might have had any thoughts about blaming myself or looking at other people, if I sort of like, hey, it was an attack. Everything else about myself or the other people falls off. It's not a thing anymore because you realize like you were doing good, they were doing good, and both parties, whether it was them being attacked or you being attacked, that will happen. So there, I might not be clear about what I'm saying and I might repeat myself. I don't write scripts. I just sort of like, I just feel this way and I'm going to go and talk it out, and whatever comes out it is just here. But I think it's really good to be aware, like, hey, you're being attacked, acknowledging that, and sort of like stop blaming yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. They want you to think that you're bad, wrong, and guilty. They want you to think that you're powerless, that you can't do anything, that it's your fault, that you can't get any better, so that you would lose any hope and you would not do anything. But that is all crap. It's all lies. You're very powerful. You're an amazing being. You can do everything you want. And of course, if you want to achieve anything in life, it's a journey. And there's a lot of rocks and mountains over the way, obstacles and everything, whatever you want to say. But you will encounter things where reaching your goal, or that wanted place, the wanted feeling, the wanted abilities and the character traits and all the stuff, it will be hard. It's simple for me to talk because I myself have achieved some of it. I'm still far on my journey, but each and every one of us, we're going through so much. And I want you to say that you're doing great. Don't give up because you're on your journey, and you get smacked because you are doing something right. So keep that in mind that, hey, you did something right. You were fighting for yourself. You were getting better. You were maybe helping someone else, and you did good. And someone else didn't like that because they want you to feel bad, wrong, and guilty and powerless. And that is not true. It's actually the opposite. You're very powerful. You're courageous. You're bold being here. You're freaking awesome. So please fight on. Fight on, and like, continue your journey. Take care of yourself. Live the life you want. Go for the results you want. It's hard. It's really hard. But you can achieve what you want. Whether you're doing this alone, or maybe if you're lucky you find people on your way that support you, go for it. You can achieve everything you want. It's going to take time and effort. It's going to be difficult at times, but keep going for it because it's worth it. I would much rather have I don't know, be smacked while going for something I want, rather than live my whole life complaining and feeling miserable. So I would rather like have some scars but achieve what I want, rather than have tears and regrets and have not moved anywhere. And I'm not the perfect example. There's tons of other people that you can find that will maybe be an inspiration, but please don't feel bad if stuff happens to you. It is not your fault. You're doing great, and please fight on. So that's my message for today, and I hope that for some, maybe something you need to hear today. Please fight on. Take care of yourself, and I love you.